Welcome to When the Womb Speaks, a podcast created by the Sanctuary of Sophia. Hi, I'm Angie, founder of the Sanctuary of Sophia, and joining me is my co-creator Kerry Dawes, a womb practitioner, facilitator and priestess. In these sacred conversations, we open space to listen deeply to the wisdom of women's wombs. Because when the womb speaks, we listen. Hello, and welcome everyone listening today. I'd like to introduce you to a really beautiful soul I know called Laura Anne Renwick. She is a holistic artist, a shamanic womb priestess, whose path really does weave creativity and womb wisdom as one. She's really rooted in the belief that each one nourishes, awakens, and amplifies each other. So Laura is also the author of Initiation of the Flame and has hosted many retreats within the UK. But at the heart of her business, she creates alchemical paintings as energetic portals, infused with crystals, healing frequencies and light codes, and they are absolutely stunning. Alongside this, she also offers Oracle deck design and mentorship through her Oracle Doula services. So her creative commissions have included collaborations with well-known individuals within the spiritual community, including Elements of Avery, Claire, I can't pronounce the name, sorry, Pechulengo, have I got that right? Yeah, thank you. Kelly Vikings and so many more, as well as global movie brand Hammer Horror Films in collaborations with Sky Arts. You've done so much, Laura. But there's even more that you do. You provide creative wellbeing opportunities for children in schools, which is so beautiful, and alternative provisions within the knowing that actually creativity truly is the medicine for the soul. So that is so beautiful. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you, Angie. Thank you.
Yours. What I really love with you, Laura, and how I see you out in the world is how you're very clear on creativity is really the core of your work and where you're at. So tell me, how did you get into being brave enough to put your work out there?
Yeah, it kind of just happened. It was obviously from being a little girl, I was always artistic and creative, and that was my safe place and my solace, really.
Mm,
But to come about as a business and really putting it out there, it was just after I'd had my second child, my daughter, and I was going through quite a bad bout of postnatal depression, and I
oh,
was quite isolated and felt really young.
yeah.
And I just sort of sat there and I thought, right, the kids are napping, what can I do? So I just sat there and I drew a sketch of our dog and then posted it up online. And I had lots of people tell me how great it was. And that kind of morphed into me having a really successful pet portraits business.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So I've done loads of pet portrait commissions. And then that just kind of snowballed into me creating more work and putting myself out there and being more
Mm,
as a business owner. But yeah, and then the
because
spiritual side came in.
Yeah, because a lot of women do have blocks around putting their creativity out there. They have all the downloads, can access all the drawing and the creativity in whatever form it is.
Mm.
But it's that, how do you be brave enough to do it? So you said you started drawing, and how did it snowball to where you are today, with exhibitions and, selling your amazing creations?
I think it was just a case of more and more people seeing it. And actually,
Mm.
I mean, I'm a prolific people pleaser, and surprise,
Mm.
surprise. And even from being a little girl, like whenever I showed people my art, that was where I got the sort of the metaphorical pat on the back. So that kind of fed
Ah,
into me feeling like I was worthy and a bit better of, obviously,
mm,
I am worthy and I know that now, but when I was in quite a bad place, getting that metaphorical pat on the back and all the lovely comments,
yeah.
that really kind of fed into putting myself out there more. And
Mm.
yeah, I guess it's just built from there, from actually
mm.
seeking that pat on the back to standing my ground and realizing, no, I am good at what I do and I deserve to.
Absolutely. So the healing that you've done, obviously you have done a lot of work with me with the womb. So how, in your view, has the womb acted as a portal of creativity for you? Especially with your creativity. How deep did that work go for you?
Oh, on like for me, the womb is the birthplace of creativity.
Mm,
It's obviously when you think the sacral chakra, that is our creative center, but as womb carriers, that is our physical place of creation. In the words of the Munich, we create and give birth to life.
absolutely, yeah.
So from there, like tuning into womb, whether we're creating life in the form of a human being or creating our ideas, our projects, our art, whatever we're putting out there, womb is central to that. That womb is
Mm,
essentially, I mean, for me anyway, the source of creativity. When you listen,
mm,
when you create from that space, it's not just drawing an idea from your mind, it's really going deep, listening in, and then bringing forth something that's like soul deep, womb deep, really meaningful.
mm. And we've worked together, and I'm just about to launch my Shamanic Way of the Womb Oracle deck, which you've worked with me on with the light codes. How has that changed and developed for you, accessing that as well? Has it got easier since you've done clearings and healings and transmissions on your womb?
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously if we're talking about the womb as that place of creativity,
Mm.
imagine that's your art studio. And imagine if you've got boxes and junk and you're tripping over everything and you're cramped and it's not giving you room to flow and to create. Whereas when you clear
Mm.
that space, when it feels nice and clean and lovely to be in, it just naturally paves the way for stuff to happen to be
That's
creative.
a that's that's a lovely artistic way of describing the room as your artist studio.
Yeah, so I mean, like tidy space, tidy mind, as it were. So tidy womb.
Yeah, totally, totally. So with womb and art then. So why do you think that is so important for women to connect to their creativity through their womb space?
Yeah, I think they both go hand in hand. It's a two-way thing. It's not a
Mm,
one before the other. It's one and the other. I think if you start with womb work and then move into your creativity, the womb, like obviously saying about having that clearer space and doing the healing, the creativity is almost like your canvas to put anything that's moving through womb, whether that's clearing any trauma or
mm,
anything that you're looking to bring to life. I think creating it that art space gives it the more tangible form of what
mm,
you've worked with womb, like seeing your healing, your womb space on paper, on canvas.
mm. And does your artwork reflect that, Laura? You know, that the highs and lows, the depths, the shadows, the woundings, does that come out on your canvas?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I
Mm,
think like with color, I like to work with that because I like to use color psychology and
mm,
chromotherapy. So that reflects obviously how the color responds to us psychologically, physically. So I've got some really lovely, bold, colorful pieces that will do certain
mm,
things. But equally, I've got some that are really earthy and murky, and it
mm.
depends what I'm feeling, what comes out. But yeah, definitely a
Yeah.
translation of what's
And
going
what started you put adding crystals and things like that? I mean, I've seen glitter added on. Several artists use that, but crystals, that was a first to me when I saw your work with that. How did that come about?
So to begin with, I used to crush up the crystals. I've got a really big, weighty granite pestle and mortar. And I used to crush them up and put them into the paint. And I thought, it's lovely, but it's hard work. It's
I
hard
thought you were going to say you used a NutriBullet or something like that.
work. Oh, it's a
Can you
really
imagine?
yeah. Oh, the blades wouldn't last long. Uh,
No.
yeah, so I used to crush them up and like sprinkle them in like a glitter. And I thought, what if I actually get like the chips and work that in?
Mm,
Because I've seen so many people use like acrylic or glass beads and bits, and I thought, no,
mm,
I really want to work with the
mm.
crystals. So I experimented,
Yeah.
just dotted them about. But obviously now my signature one is like along that kind of horizon line, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's just lovely because obviously you've got the color healing and the color psychology, but the crystal healing as well.
Well, exactly. The vibration of the crystals and the color. I mean, it all ties back to me for, so many of the ancient temples had all this in. I was lucky enough to go to Dendra, Hathal's temple, and you can go there in guided meditation, but to actually go in and in all these little ante rooms where sound and color vibration, you know when you go there, and I hope you do get to go there one day. This is what happened in each room, and that was attuned to a different part of the body. So exactly what you're saying, color,
Mm.
crystals. We haven't talked about sound. I mean, do you have music when you're working? Do you play music in the background?
Do. It varies. It does vary. I think there's a lot of stereotypical, you must listen to this when you're creating. So I do listen to lovely soft music. But I must
Mm.
admit, as anything that sort of raises my vibration and gets me going, I am a bit of a drum and bass head. So sometimes I'll listen to some really but what I will do is obviously when it's creating, I'm in my flow, but once they're finished,
Mm.
then what I do is I infuse the healing in there. So I will listen to more gentle, energetic
Mm.
stuff. But
And what's your favorite track or your favorite artist at the moment?
do you know what? Not drum and bassy. I've discovered an artist called Ethel Kane, and her music is, when you find a musician and the sound just really touches your soul and you feel it.
Yeah,
So I've got her
yeah.
on repeat lately. Her stuff is very like gothic Americana.
Okay. I'll have to check her out, darling. Maybe you can have the link, give me the link, and we can share that with everyone as well at the end. And we haven't touched on your devotion, your actual spirituality, whether you connect to a particular goddess or different goddesses come through as you're working. Tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Well, obviously doing the shamanic apprenticeship with you, tuning into different goddesses, and I've done the two spirals. So the first spiral that came through, goddess Selene. So she was my main goddess that I worked with through that first spiral, and obviously others coming in. Bridget, I love to work with her
Mm.
energy, but also Mary Magdalene came in a lot, especially in the first 18 months working with you. But then the second spiral, Mother Mary came through a lot, and I really
Mm.
working with her energy. But then the goddess that really came through in that second spiral was Mayan goddess Ashel.
Yes.
She was weaver of creativity, and interestingly, even though I'm an earth sign, I'm very fire energy. So working with
Mm.
Ashel and that water energy
Mm.
was interesting for me because obviously when I've worked through the two spirals with you, whenever I got to water, I was always a bit like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this.
I understand. I'm very, very fiery, but this is all what we're talking about now. Those of you listening, it's all based on the shamanic way of the womb medicine wheel, and the earth, air, fire, and water elements. And Laura's talking about the goddesses associated to that. So Bridget is obviously associated with fire and the forge, creativity, inspiration. She was a poet. She was an artist. Um, Goddess to blacksmiths of the forge. So people working with fire were connected with her. And obviously your colouring, my colouring. She's, our ancient Celtic goddess. Yeah, she's great. And then talking about Ishel, I directly work with her with the 13th womb rite, bringing the message and the transmission from the women of the jungle. But of course, as you said, she works with the moon. She's a triple goddess working with water and literally life-giving waters of the womb. She's depicted as pouring a vessel, pouring her waters of life-giving waters, like many of the goddesses of water. Without water, we wouldn't be here. So a beautiful combination of goddesses then that came through. So do you have any sort of devotional practice when you're creating a painting? Do you call in or do you just wait and see who's there to
Yeah,
help you?
so I will, if I'm feeling really drawn to, or if I'm really deeply working with a specific goddess at that time, I will call her in. But I'll generally call in goddess as a she of 10,000 names and see
Sure.
what's in, because then I'm in the firm belief when I create artwork, unless it's a commission, if it's just one that's going to go out there, I create in the knowing that there is a person out there that this is for, and maybe they see it next week, maybe they see it in 2 years.
Mm,
This is for them. So whatever drops in, that goes into it. So yeah,
And you trust that
yeah, absolutely.
download. Yeah.
So I mean, I know some people might have a bit of dismay, like, oh, it's not selling. But I'm in the firm sort of belief that this is for a specific person and it's just waiting for them to see it. So
Yeah, that's the best way, isn't it? Because I know a lot of artists do despair when their work doesn't sell, and especially, we won't go down the rabbit hole of talking about AI, but it's there and it's real, and it does affect people's work. There's no doubt about it.
absolutely. Yeah. So I think
Mm,
actually staying true to what I feel as an artist, as a creator, as a spiritual, energetic person, just letting
mm,
it flow through and that being
mm.
organic rather than trying to make it fit something.
Yeah, I think that's so beautiful to flow with what is, and that is the absolute feminine way. We spiral, and we change our minds. If it doesn't work, something else will come in that we can flow with.
Absolutely.
And I know that with artist work, it can be quite, I don't know whether you experience this. I know when I'm making products and things like that, I wouldn't say it's lonely, but it's quite solitary. So the balance with group work, I know you've run retreats and you take women out on the land. Um, Sorry, it's my cat moving around. Queen Maeve has awoken. Do you agree that that is a balance in your life, mixing in person with people and then going into your womb cave? You're like this, pulsing in and out.
Yeah, I really do. I think I'm someone that really thrives in my own solitude, but
Mm,
also I do need that people connection, but I'm very discerning of who I have in that group of people. So obviously running retreats or going to
mm,
events and spaces with other people. Obviously I've been to some of your in-person
mm.
as well, and I think it's that discernment of where you spend your energy with, because I'm very much in my solitude. I like to recharge, but I enjoy my own company. I really like being on my own, and I know that makes me sound a bit spinster-esque, but I love it. I do love being on my own, but I am in the firm
Mm,
belief of having those people around you that are reflective of like the energy that you want to be and hold and
mm.
around. So
And obviously, everything you carry and hold and share in groups. What do you find women are looking for? What are they seeking at the moment?
it always comes down to that sense of belonging, of
Yeah,
that being not necessarily just being good enough, but being just as you are and people accepting you for that. And that's why I sort of really like honor myself on holding safe spaces, and I call it sacred sisterhood.
beautiful. Yeah,
But yeah, that comes up every time, the sense of belonging and
yeah,
being acknowledged for who they are, not what someone else wants them to be.
yeah. I absolutely agree with that, darling. So, what happens to you in your groups when you're balancing the light and dark? In group dynamics, I love group dynamics because I learn so much from what's in front of me. So, how do you hold space for both that shadow and light in the sort of healing process journey with your groups?
Yeah. So we always start off obviously welcoming each individual in, and then we open up as a circle. I like to set some, I never like the official house rules, but I think firm boundaries from the outset lets everyone know where they're at.
Yeah, clear boundaries for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely, clarity helps, doesn't it?
that's it. Because when you've got a mix of different people and different personalities, there's going to be some big personalities, there's going to be some that, and I think actually setting the clear boundary that when someone else is speaking, we don't interrupt them. Uh,
Mm,
because anyone that would otherwise probably be spoken over that hasn't had that opportunity,
yeah.
they need that time. Because that's probably what they're there for, to have their voice be heard. Um,
Yeah, and I love circles. I love circle time, and I go back to thinking, my first circles, I was like that. I wanted to fix everyone. Women are sharing their stories, and they've got some sort of wound disease. Oh, have you tried this? Or have you tried that? And if you haven't sat in circle, you don't know that actually, unless it's invited comments and suggestions, just listen. I think we're so quick to jump in. I know I am. I still do it now, to jump in and help. And circle time is so different, isn't it? It's a learning, and we've forgotten.
Yeah, I think I always like to make it clear that like this is that person. Please don't offer advice or counsel because
Yeah.
maybe that's not what they're seeking. Maybe they just want to speak it out loud. So I used to have like a pebblestone crystal that we pass around like our talking crystal, which affectionately at my retreats became known as the sweat stone because by the time it got round, obviously everyone handling it got a bit sweaty. But
Yeah.
now I've got a lovely wooden engraved pebble that was done by one of my good friends.
Oh, nice.
Got that we pass around, and that just reinforces that
Mm,
if that's yours, you speak and
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
not.
that's perfect. So, sounds like you know what you're doing, darling, and it's just weaving through with the magic of each woman without them making them feel they're less than anybody else, which is the whole thing of a circle, isn't it? All sitting as equals. So as facilitators, you're not power over. You're there to hold the space, but not push anyone into any particular shape or form. Um, so the other thing I was going to talk to you about, someone just starting out on their goddess journey or their womb healing journey,
Mm.
would there be any one bit of advice or guidance you would give to them?
Ooh, oh, that's a good question. I I think reflecting back on my own journey, I would say go with what you feel, like what feels true to you, rather than what you think you should be doing. Or if there's someone that says, "Oh, you shouldn't do it that way," I think we're all different, and one person's
Mm,
yes is another person's no. So I would say trust yourself, trust womb.
yeah,
Go with what feels right for you. Don't feel like you need to slot into a box or tick off a checklist. I think.
that's a beautiful piece of advice. And I think there's so much pressure these days to follow the pack.
Mm,
Those of us who take a different path and do walk a different path, it's not necessarily easy, but it's one that's true to our soul. And I think what you've said there is really encouraging people to tune into what their soul really
mm,
is guiding them and what they're here for. And that's so important because we don't actually sit and spend and take time in the mainstream world. We just get like, flotsam, you just flow with whatever is going on in life. So I think that's a beautiful piece of advice. Thank you, Laura.
Thank
Um, so for you, what, one sort of final question
you.
is your vision. What is your vision for your work, for what you carry, for all the wisdom that you hold and the gifts that you hold, moving forward, maybe 6 months, a year?
Mhm.
What are you seeing your life unfold?
Ooh. So I really want to do a bit more advocacy through my work. So I
Mm,
obviously I've gone through various trauma, but I also have chronic conditions, and I realized that I have got a really powerful platform. So giving people a voice or representation is really important to me. So that'll be moving through my work in the next year. But ultimately, like my big goal is to have like a holistic art space where people can come and be or create or just relax, and
mm.
that's my long term, but step by
That
step.
is so beautiful. That's so beautiful. And did I see something somewhere that you were doing art lessons online? Tell everybody, is that true?
I was doing, yeah, so a bit of a online community that I started up is it includes like rather than typical art tutoring lessons, it's more like held in circle, it's ceremonial, it's lovely. If you've got your own
Mm,
project, bring it, create something. But then if you're like, right, I want to pick your brains because I've got this wealth of artistic expertise, or even just what do you think?
mm. And how do people access that, Laura?
So you can check out on my website. There's a list on there of all the different spaces that I hold and what you can get in on. But yeah,
What's the name of your website? We put all the details, at the end for people to look at, but just say it now so people know.
it's www.anuvea.co.uk.
And Anuvea, can you spell that for people?
So it's Anuvea. So that's a word that I made up myself. Well, didn't make it up, but it's got two counterparts put together.
And what does it mean?
So it's the two words Anu and Vea. So
Mm.
Anu comes from it's kind of in a nutshell is like individual soul, and
Ah.
Yeah, so it means like it's got correlations with like transformation and creativity, and then Vea is a form of to be woven, and then
Oh,
spiritual and gifts and bits. So in a nutshell, it's for an individual's creative and spiritual soul to be woven together.
wow. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, I just so loved talking to you, Laura. It's always an absolute delight and joy. And I hope everyone has learned more about you and how your womb healing path has really amplified your creativity and everything you do out in the world. And I wish you so much love and really passion and courage and fire for this next year ahead, the year of the fire horse. I feel I'm on the saddle already. I feel as though I'm galloping. I don't know whether you can feel that energy, even though we're not there in the Chinese year, but we're on the cusp of it.
It's coming. Thank you so much for your lovely words. But yeah, I feel that fire horse coming, and my Chinese sign is the horse, so
Ah, it's your year then, darling.
yes, absolutely. But no, thank you. I
You're
appreciate
welcome. Thank you so much, darling. Bye.
you.
Thank you for joining us in this sacred space of When the Womb Speaks. If you felt something stir, soften or awaken within, we invite you to share this episode and leave a review. May these stories continue to awaken the healing within you, to speak your truth with courage and to walk in wisdom and grace. May you remember the power of your own womb's ancient song. You can find us at sanctuarysophia.co.uk and on social media. Until next time, keep listening to your womb. She is always speaking.